Hello guys, and welcome to the next part of the training. So the other day you would have got your avatar written up and all the details from that one, and yesterday you should have started, or maybe today you should have started actually putting some information out on social media just to help improve your reach and let people know basically that you're around and that you exist, which is great. Now, we was going to leave this part of the training to a bit later on. However, a lot of people have been asking about pricing your packages, so I thought I'd move this forward. And hopefully it should be very useful training for you. So this one's going to be a bit longer than normal, and so make sure you've got some time aside to do this. But this is going to be all about your values and your ambitions versus that of your clients. And we're going to use the information from this to help price your packages. So what you're going to need for this training, we're going to need 30 minutes or more of free, undistracted time. So turn off your phone, turn off your notifications on your computer, and make sure you've got 30 minutes or more of free time to do this. It's important that you get involved, have a good think about it. We're going to be digging deep and asking some good questions to try and get you to understand the values that you've got, the ambitions that you've got, and how we're going to use those to actually work out how much you should be charging for your services. Now, have a pen and paper to make notes and to complete the exercises. Again, it's important that you write stuff down here. It's okay just to watch this, but it's going to be super important that you write this down to make sure you have a good understanding of what we're talking about. And also, we're going to have to be doing some calculations. We are working out prices here. So you're going to have to write some numbers down as we go in order to work this out properly. On the same lines as that, you're going to need a calculator. I don't want you to waste your brain power on the maths. You're going to need it. We're going to be digging deep. We're going to be trying to answer some questions. We're going to be talking a lot about personal stuff as well. So don't waste your brain power on the maths. Get a calculator and use that. An empty bladder? Yep. Pause this now if you need to go to the loo. But it's really important that you don't have any distractions here. And the last thing you want to do is start this, needing the toilet, and then you need to go halfway through and it just breaks up that flow that's going to be so important for the exercises in this training. And it's also a good idea to have a glass of water because you could be here for a while. We're saying 30 minutes. It could be a bit more. I'm going to have the opportunity for you guys to pause during this training. So you're going to have as much time as you need to complete the exercise because it's important that you do complete these properly and you don't rush in them. And also entrust the process as well. Trust this process we're going to go through. So please don't skip any of the steps because they're all important. I say that because it's so easy to go on things like this and think, oh, I've done this kind of stuff before. I've done this on another program somewhere. What we do here is very important, especially the first part of this. So please just trust in the process. Give me the benefit of the doubt and just try the exercises as you work our way through. And I'm sure they're going to make all the difference when it comes to working out your pricing. So the first thing to do is understand value. What is important to you? Now, before we can do that, before we can set a price, before we can even basically look at a business model for your business, you need to know what you're in business for. Before we do that, I want to ask you a pretty simple question. So I want you to take 60 seconds. I want you to really think about what the purpose of a business is, not your particular business, but the purpose of any business. I want you to think about what it is. So I'm going to give you 60 seconds. If you want to pause it, wait those 6 seconds, that's cool. If not, then I'll wait a few seconds, then we'll move on. Okay, cool. So I'm going to tell you what I think a business is all about, and I'll explain why in just a minute. So a business is about making a profit in a way that aligns with your values and ambitions. A business is about making a profit in a way that aligns with your values and ambitions. Now, it doesn't matter whether your business is a profit-making business, whether it's a non-for-profit or a charity, the principle is still the same. Charities still have to make a profit per se in order to give money to the causes that they believe in. So it is all basically about making a profit in a way that aligns with your values and ambitions. So how do we use this to build our pricing strategy? Well, to do that, we're actually going to start to make a one-page business plan. And the first part of that is understanding your mission and your values. Now, your values are your own personal compass. If you stand by your values in your business, you will attract the people you truly want to work with, and you'll also wake up and have a passion and a drive to motivate you forward. Now, understanding your values is one of the most profound realizations you can have. Life in your business starts to make more sense when your actions align with your values. and life and business just generally starts to flow much more effortlessly. So we're going to do the first exercise, and this one is basically just trying to get an understanding of what really your values are about. So on the page at the moment, on the screen, we have lots of different value categories, if you like. Now, some of these will mean a lot to you, some of these won't mean anything to you. And what I want you to do is choose your top 5 values from the list opposite, or you can add in your own as well if you think of something missing. I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. So write down your top 5 values from this list, or you can add your own as well. I'm going to share my values with you. Now, these are quite personal to me, but I think it's important that I do share this with you. So adventure, family, happiness, marriage, and wealth. They are the top 5 things that are quite important to me. So everything I do in my life, I try and base it around those 5 values. Now, I want you to try and do the same. I want you to go through this list, have a look at them all, take your time, and write down the 5 that are important to you. Again, take your time to think about this. Pause this training for as long as you need. Go away, write it down, and once you're ready, come back, hit play, and then we'll carry on. Okay, excellent. So now you've come back. Now you have your top 5. I want you to take a few minutes to review each one and why they're important to you. So there are no right and wrongs here. This is personal to you, so forget about what anyone else might think. This is not for them, this is for you. You are the one taking the risk in your business and by being in business. So this is all about you. So take your top 5 values, take some time, pause this training, and then just write down underneath each one about why they're important to you. So welcome back. Now you've actually written down your values. Step 2, we're going to talk about your ambitions, your goals. So these should align with your values and your life's mission. They should mean everything to you, so no small thinking here. This should really be the shit that dreams are made of. Now, if the thought of achieving this goal doesn't make you all tingly inside and put a huge smile on your face, then go back to the drawing board and dig deeper. Now, I want you to forget about SMART goals here. These are fine in the gym, but for business and training online clients, they aren't really going to get your clients motivated. Now, you need to remember that self-motivation, strategy, and consistent action is what equals results. It doesn't matter whether that's in business or if you're training clients. Self-motivation plus strategy plus consistent action equals results. Now, motivation comes first in that list. Without self-motivation, you'll not have the resolve to push forward. Just like if you haven't been able to help your clients motivate themselves during your sales call or your sales copy, then you're not going to get the sale. So for this, you are going to need goals, but you're also going to need ambition. So we've got a couple of exercises we want to do here. Now, I've got to bear in mind that your values should guide your business and your values should guide your goals and ambitions. So what I want you to do is write down your main life's ambitions and what is the end goal. So this is the end goal of everything in your life. What is this purpose of your life? What is it you want to do? I'm not just talking about the end goal of your business or something silly like I want to retire in a nice house somewhere. I'm talking about what is super important to you. What do you want as a result of all the actions, of all the stress, and all the things you are going to go through in this business? What is it you want to achieve by doing it? That's what I want you to do. I want you to write that down and then pause this, and then we'll come back to it in a few moments' time. Again, take as long as you need, just pause it, then come back to it once you're ready. So write down your main life's ambitions and what is the end goal, and make sure that these align with your values, because if they don't, you're going to find it really hard to motivate yourself. So make sure you align with your values and think deep and hard about why this is all important for you. Okay, cool. Welcome back. Hopefully now you've got your main life ambition down there and what your end goal is. Now what I want you to do is the next part of this exercise is write down what you will need to achieve this. So are you going to need money? Are you going to need time freedom? Do you need love? Do you need social interaction? Whatever it is, write down around your your goal, just so it's all around there, make it look pretty, do whatever you want to do with it. Just write down all the things you are going to need to make this happen. Again, if you want to take some time to do this, just pause it, then hit play when you're ready to start again. Okay, cool. Welcome back. So now in the future, we can obviously take these goals and break them down to more manageable SMART goals. And you should do that. You know how to do this with your clients. The same process works in your business. You start with your big goals and you start breaking them down. But for what we need to do today, we don't particularly need to break them down. But remember this, everything you do in your business, every decision you make should contribute towards this end goal. If it doesn't, then clearly you're just doing it for fun. If it's not fun and it doesn't contribute towards your end goal, then guess what? Do not do it. Let me just say that again. If you make a decision to do something in your business and it doesn't contribute towards your goals and you don't actually particularly enjoy doing it, you're not doing it just for fun, then don't do it. Just literally don't do it. There is no point of you doing it. It's not contributing towards anything, so just don't do it. So now we understand that, we can start talking about price. So before we dig deeper into price, I'm going to ask you one thing. You've got that big goal now, that big ambition that you want to achieve from doing your stuff in your business. Now, I'm hoping you put something in there quite realistic. I didn't say it before because we're all adults here, we've been business people before. You should have some sort of realistic idea of what you want. Even though it should be ambitious, it should be big, and it should be something you really want. What I want you to do now is tell me when you are going to achieve this goal. So I want you just to pick a date. It doesn't matter whether it's 30 years from now, just pick one. Put it down on a piece of paper. Cool, everyone done that? Again, if you want a bit more time, that's fine. You can just pause this and come back to the training later. That's not a problem. But for now, we'll carry on. So let's finally talk about price. So I'll ask you a question before we do that. If I buy you a cup of coffee, would you clean all the dog poop up in my garden? I'm sure the answer is going to be hell no, would you do that? Why would you go and clean up a load of dog crap in my garden if I just bought you a cup of coffee? It just would not happen. The reason I'm asking that is because I want to tell you a story about somebody I spoke to not too long ago who was a PT. So I was speaking to someone not too long ago, and they were talking about money and in particular wages. Now, this person, he did have a job in the fitness industry. He was a personal trainer. And he was debating with me about putting up his prices, but he wasn't too sure about doing it or whether he was even confident enough to do that or whether it was even worth that. So I sat down with him and said, all right, let's have a look at this properly. Let's actually work out what you're getting paid. Now, he charges people hourly. So that's what we started working out. We chatted with him saying, what is your actual hourly rate? Now, this PT charged what I pretty call the standard UK rate of £25 per hour. So I think that's like, what, $35, $40 an hour, something like that. This is what he thought he charged. What he actually did was charge his clients £25 per hour session. He didn't actually charge £25 per hour. Now, so what we did, we made a list of everything that he has to do for that £25 per hour. First of all, we looked at his direct costs. That's the costs that are directly linked to that particular hour session. So that's 20 minutes of session planning, 10 minutes preparing an update for his clients through diet advice and stuff like that. 10 minutes of setting up before to get everything ready when his client gets there. Then the actual time, the actual hour running the session. And then 5 minutes to clean down and finish off the session. But it doesn't stop there. When we looked at his overhead costs, so these are the costs that have to be paid regardless whether the session runs or not. He had to drive to the gym each day. He had to use the fuel to get to the gym each day. He had the gym rental, his own insurance, the uniform and cleaning costs. I mean, it's a sweaty job, so almost daily cleaning. Then what we need to do is add in the fact that he doesn't actually, this is different actually thinking about it in the UK compared to the US. So in the UK, most trainers are self-employed. So they're not employed. In the US, I guess a lot of trainers from what I've heard are actually employed. So we actually need to take into account that when he doesn't work, he doesn't get paid. So he's not employed, so he has no right to holiday pay or anything like that or sick pay, which means when he doesn't work, when he's sick, when he goes on holiday, he needs to think about putting some money aside in order for that to happen. So the average holiday time each year, the time he has off sick, basically anything to maintain his current income, he will need to have this money set aside. Then what about all the sales and marketing? So if you work for a company, another company, you will get paid for this. It's all part of the overheads. What about the time each day spent replying to inquiries? Again, if you work for another company, you will get paid for this. We took all these figures and worked out the net profit divided by his average daily hours worked over the year. So after all that in mind, my friend who I was speaking to at 15-hour plus days, 6 days a week, earns a whopping £4.66 per hour. That's like, what, $6, $7 per hour, which even with his low hourly wage still attracts national insurance and tax because of the way tax are worked out for self-employed people. So basically, it's bad times. Now, this guy has a degree in sports science. He's a level 3 personal trainer, a qualified nutritionist, not someone who says nutrition, an actually qualified nutritionist. And he helps change people's lives. I mean, really changes them. Now, luckily, we managed to create a new strategy to help him move forward with his business. But this is all too common in our industry. It's no wonder most personal trainers quit within 12 months of starting. I honestly think this all comes down to understanding one's value and portraying this to your clientele. Now, something a lot of people don't do, especially in the fitness industry, which is why I think it's so important to understand your values and your goals before discussing the price of your service. So I'm going to go back to my first question. If I buy you a cup of coffee, would you clean all the dog poop up in my garden? Now, technically speaking, it's not clean dog poop in my garden, but this trainer does every day give up his time and his years of experience to help others improve the way they look, the way they feel, and the way they live for less than a large coffee at Starbucks. But it's not just my PT friend. Most people do this in so many industries. I see this even in our group, and I see this across a lot of the online groups when it comes to online training. Now, I'm just going to say something like that. Online training does not have to be cheaper than in person. So that's something you need to get out your head. It does not have to be. In fact, it should be more valuable. I know for a fact I can get better results online for my clients than I can training them one-to-one in person. And I will share with you how you can do that at a later date. But for now, I just wanted to drop that in there. Now, every hour you use to make money is an hour of your life. So I'm going to say it again. Every hour of your time that you use to make money is an hour for your life. So you're basically trading your time in exchange for money. You're trading your life in exchange for money. So if you earn £10 per hour, then that coffee and cake from Starbucks just cost you 1 hour of your life. If you earn £20 per hour, that meal just cost you 1 hour of your time or 1 hour of your life. Now, that's an hour less to do things you enjoy, an hour less time to relax, an hour less time with your family, an hour less doing things that are valuable to you. So all those things that are part of your values, every time you trade your time for money, you're either doing it because you enjoy doing it and it blends with those values and it works well with those values, which is fine, or you're doing something you don't enjoy and trading it for money and trading it for time and for your life. That's basically what you are doing in exchange for money. Now, when you spend money, you are spending time, you are spending your life. Now, it's a very life-changing way to look at money, and it can change how you use it, and more importantly, it can change how you run your business. Understanding that every time you earn money and give it away, whatever time you've traded to earn that money is basically what you're giving away when you buy something. Really important to remember that. Now, having the right mindset, accepting how valuable your skills, knowledge, and time are to other people, and having the right strategy in your life and business can change anything. So as we go through these next steps, I want you to remember this story that I'm telling you about here. Try and keep that in the back of your mind, because it's going to be useful not only for working all this stuff out, but also when you're sat down in front of those people, try and do those sales calls, and when you're writing your sales copy, always think in the back of your mind, this is what I'm doing things for. If I'm doing something I don't enjoy and getting paid for it, whenever I buy something back, I'm trading that in. So it needs to be an investment where I'm earning more money back, or I just don't need to do it if I really don't enjoy it. Unless it's contributing towards your end goal and it's in line with your values, it should not be done. So let's go through the next steps. Think about that and don't be afraid to make how valuable you are abundantly clear in your pricing. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Everybody happy? Cool. Let's move on. Okay, so what you need to earn. Now, John Goodman calls this the freedom number. Now, to calculate your freedom number, you start by tallying up the amount of money per month that you need to fulfill your basic needs. So rent, food, funds to care for others, if you've got kids, family, whatever, a small amount of extravagance. So as John Goodman puts it very well here, which I call Do Something Special for My Beautiful Wife Fund. Now that is an extract taken directly from the Fundamentals of Online Training, which is one of John Goodman's course. It's a very good way of working something out. So again, pause this now, take your time. I want you to write down everything you need to survive. Now, some of you might know this off the top of your head. Some of you might not have a clue. This is not for your business. This is just for you. So rent, food money you spend, fuel for your car, just anything, any bills you have to pay, anything like that that you need just to survive, to maintain the basics of life that you have now, write it down. This is going to be your freedom number. So to give you an example, for me, that would be around $3,000 per month, something like that. Which that works out what? Around 36,000 a year, something like that. So again, if you're not sure about this, pause it, write all the stuff down, come back when you're ready. Okay, cool. So now you should have your freedom number. What I'm going to ask you now is what you really need to earn. So I call this the only number that really matters. So I want you to take your freedom number and look back at your end goal and think about what you need to achieve this end goal and write down any costs you need to make you achieve this. So again, look back at your end goal and write down any costs or estimated costs that you need to achieve this. So let's say if you want a certain house, you want to live somewhere, just take your time. You know, if you want to pause this, you can come back at whenever you want to, no matter how long you pause it for. Do a bit of research if you really want to, or just take a good guess of what it might be, of how much the costs are going to be in order to achieve this. So pause it, go away and do that. When you're ready, come back and hit play. Okay, cool. Welcome back. So now you've got this cost. You've got your freedom number plus the cost of what it's going to take for you to achieve your end goal. Now, this could be a stupid figure. It could be huge. It could be a massive figure. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what your end goals are. But once you've got that, I want you now to divide that by how long it's taking you. Go back. Okay, welcome back. Now we've done that, we want to talk about what you really need to earn. So I call this the only number that really matters. So what we're going to do is take your freedom number, and now you're going to look back at your end goal and what you need to achieve this end goal. And I want you to write down any cost you need to make this happen. So go back, have a look at your end goal, think about those things you wrote down before, and take a bit of time to sit down and think, what costs are you going to need in order to achieve this end goal? Now, these could just be estimates, they could just be complete guesses if you want to, or you can just go away, do a bit of research, and come back to this training. It's entirely up to you how you want to do this. So pause this now, write all this down, take a bit of time, get your costs together, then come back. Okay, cool, welcome back. Now you've done that, I want you to divide that up by how long you are giving yourself to reach your end goal. So that number we talked about earlier, I want you to take that, take this big figure you've got now of what it's going to cost you to achieve this goal, divide it by that number that you've got of how long it's going to take you to achieve that goal, and I want you to add that to your freedom number. And this is basically the number that really matters. This is how much it's going to cost. So let's look at this. My freedom number per year is $36,000. And the other number that really matters to me is $36,000 plus, I worked out I'm going to need $2,000 per month over the space that I wanted in order to get to my end goal on top of that. It's just an example. So over 12 months at 2,000, that is $24,000 a year that I'm going to need extra on top of my freedom number. So I need a total of 36,000 plus 24,000 is 60,000. So I need a total of 60,000. So my only number that really matters is $60,000. Make sense? Cool. I'll give you, if you want, just pause it, go away, work all that out, add it up, and write down that number. Put a big circle around it, underline it, because it's going to be so important. We're going to use that later. Everyone done that? Perfect. Let's move on. So now we understand what costs we need in order to actually get what we want out of our life and to achieve our end goal. Now we need to look at the cost of doing business. So I want to basically write down the following. So write down your everyday running costs of your online business. So we're talking about software, so things like PT Distinction, MailChimp, that kind of thing. The computers, phones, anything like that, bills for them. Your website development, ongoing costs with that. Any training, so for example, like the done for you stuff, that could be included inside there. If you do something like the done for you roadside assistance as well, where you're getting the ongoing support all the time and that kind of thing, and the extra training, again, that will be a cost inside there. Insurance costs, accountancy fees, taxes and bills you've got, any backup pay, we talked about that earlier, so like holidays, sick pay, etc. Any extra staffing or outsourcing, so if you outsource stuff, you want to put those costs in there. Any costs you pay for advertising, whatever it is, basically, any costs that you've got, pause this training now. I'm going to write them all down on your paper. So write down what they are and what the costs are of that. And I want you to work out what the monthly cost is. That's the easiest way to do it. So work out the monthly cost of all them. Could do that. Okay, cool. So welcome back. If you pause that whilst you're writing that down. Now you've done that, on another page or next to it or in another column or however you're doing it, I want you to write down the everyday time you invest in your business. So these are the things where you invest time, not money, in the actions that you do in your business. So we're talking about any learning or education that you do, any time you do marketing, any time you do copywriting, accounting, bookkeeping, you might do business planning and sales calls, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Write down all the things you do in your business that you have to do for your business, the cost of doing business. I'm not talking about the time you invest in your clients directly. I'm talking about the stuff you need to do to make your business happen. I'm talking about working on your business, not in your business. In your business is what you do when you're working directly with your clients. On your business is what you do to make your business grow and thrive. And that's what I'm talking about here. So pause it if you have to, write all those things down, and then think about how much time you spend on each one of them. Now, bear in mind, you may be outsourcing some of this stuff. If it's an outsourced thing that you do and you're outsourcing it, that then belongs in your everyday running costs. But if it's something you have to do, then it's an hourly cost to you. So make sure you write down the hours that you do on that side. So again, pause it, work your way through that list, and when you're ready, hit play and we'll start again. Okay, cool. Welcome back. So just a quick recap. You should have your everyday running costs for your online business on one side. So we'll have my example. Let's say my cost of doing business are $800 per month. I'm going to multiply that by 12 for the whole year, and that equals $9,600. And the time I invest in my business per week is around 10 hours per week. So I'm just going to bear that in mind. So I've got written down on that piece of paper. You guys should do the same. Write down how many hours you spend per week now on your business, and I'm going to write down the cost of your business over an entire year. So again, to recap, the cost of business for an entire year, in my example, it's going to be $9,600. The total time in my business per week that I spend on my business is 10 hours. So what is your figure and what do you need to earn each month? So we need to cover the cost of living, the cost of business, and to contribute to your end goal. So we've got these figures together. We're going to work out something called your TI, your target income. So we're going to add together the cost of doing business and the only number that matters. So in this example here, we've got my TI. So my TI would be the $9,600, which is what the costs are for running my business over the year. Add my $60,000, which is the money that I need, my number that only matters. This is the amount of money I need to make in order to actually achieve what I want to achieve, which means my target income for my business is $69,600 per year. If I achieve that, I'll make enough money to cost the average cost of running my business. I'll make enough money to have the freedom that I need to live the life that I want to live. And it also will allow me to have enough money to have the lifestyle that I want, achieve the end goal that I want, all in line with my values and my ambitions. That's what that will allow me to do. So if you're not 100% sure that that covers all your cost of living, the cost of the business, and to make sure it contributes to your end goal and still gives you the right amount of income in order to do the things that you want to do, then go back over those exercises, rethink them again, and then come back to this and total it up. So in this example, my target income is going to be $69,600. If you need to pause it, go back and do the other stuff, just do that. That's cool. Then hit play when you're ready to come back. Okay, now we've got that, we need to look at our time per client, or in essence, our direct costs. Even though we're talking about time, we're going to call this cost because it does cost you in time. So this is time per client. So you need to know your products and what you basically, you know your products, yeah? You know the services, you know what you want to include. We've done that in the done for you packages. We've talked about it many times. So you should know what's involved in them already. So I want you to write down how much time you need to manage each client. Now, if you have more than one package, you're going to have to do this for each of your packages. So think about things such as your successful sales calls to get them into it, or your consultation, regular coaching calls, in-app messaging, or other forms of communication like Facebook, WhatsApp, text messages, writing programs, writing content for them. In fact, anything you have to do directly for that client to get a result that costs you in time, write it down now. And total up how long that is, how many minutes, hours that is per client, per package. Now, if your package is a membership one, you can just do it per month. That's fine. If it's a 12-week one, which we'll probably use in this example, then do it for 12 weeks, for 15 weeks, whatever that cost is, work it out. Again, pause it if you need to, and then come back when you're ready. Okay, so when doing this, it is sometimes easier, now you've got that figure, to work out your weekly cost. So if you've got a total cost for your program, and again, if you're doing a monthly one, that's fine as well, but I'm using an example of a 12-week program here. And let's say my 12-week program takes a total of 8 hours to manage the client. So if I divide 8 into 12, that gives you my weekly time per client of around 36 minutes. So using the PTD setup that I've got, I know I can manage a 12-week program, a decent 12-week program with all the content I need for them to get a result with 8 hours of time. And that's going to take me about 36 hours per week per client. So do the same exercise, work out what it is, write it down. Pause it if you need to, then come back when you're ready. So now I need to work out how much time do you want to work each week on average. So this is a bit of a personal question. You need to have a good think about this. Refer back to your goals, your ambitions, what your end goal is, and how you want to particularly live your life in order to get there. So you need to work out how long you want to spend each week managing your clients to give you the life that you want, along with the values that you want. So take the time from the time that you had to manage your business earlier. So I think we talked about 10 hours a week. This is your baseline for each week. So like I said, that adds up to 10 hours a week in our example. Now look back at your values again. Look at what you want to, you basically don't want to try and sacrifice your values when making this decision. So yes, you could work 100 hours a week, but no one really wants to work 100 hours a week. And by doing that, it might sacrifice some of the values, which is family, finding love, marriage, whatever it is. So you don't want to sacrifice any of your values. So you want to go back over your values, have a look at it, and then to add that to the time that you have to spend each week on your business. So let me give you an example. So 10 hours per week, I'm working on my business, but I want to spend the evening with my family. I want to go travel. I want to have breaks. I want to go on climbing trips, all that kind of stuff. So I know that I'm happy to spend 20 hours per week with my clients. And that's based on 36 hours per minute. So 20 hours per week on my clients plus the 10 hours I'm doing. Again, if you need some time to work this out, pause it and then just come back. So look at your time per client, per package, per week, and divide this by how many hours you would like to work. Now, each week is based on your values and your end goal. So whenever you're doing this, always think about those values, always think about that end goal. Once you've done that, wrote that down, I want you to multiply this by the total number of weeks you would like to work per years. So let me give you an example. So that means I can work with 30, based on the calculation I did before, I can work with 34 clients at a time per week in my coaching program. Now I want to work 8 months out of the year. So that's around 35-ish weeks per year. That gives me time to travel and all that kind of stuff. So in this case, basically, I can offer a 12-week package, 12, so I can get 3 packages in an 8 months. Yeah, 3 12-week packages in 8 months. And I can manage 34 clients at a time. So that's a total of 102. I'm going to calculate it. Yeah. So that's 102. So that basically means I can have 102 clients over 8 months if I'm offering 12-week packages and still maintain the amount of time that I want to spend with my family and still get stuff done for my business. So I've added all that together, worked it all out. And that basically becomes your target client number. So remember, that's taken into account the amount of hours you need to run your business and to run your clients. You're adding it all up together, you work out how many packages you can do, and then that basically gives you this target client number. So take your time, pause it if you have to, play when you want to come back and move on to the next bit. Okay, so we're almost there. Now that you have your target income and you've got your target client number, so you've got your TI and your TCN, what you need to do now is divide your TI by your TCN. So this will give you your minimum cost per client or your MCC. So for example, in my TI, we know it's 69,600 per year. I'm going to divide that by my TCR. So my TI target income, 69,600 per year. Divide that by my target client number at 102 per year, means £682.36 per client per 12-week flagship program. So if I charge around £680 to £700 per client, then that's going to give me enough to hit the targets that I need to in order to achieve my end goal, to cover all my costs, and to give me the lifestyle that I want. Now, this is just for my one 12-week flagship program. Yours could be very different. It could include multiple programs. So if you have multiple programs, these past exercises we've done, you need to go back through them. It's going to take a bit longer for you to work out, that's cool, but do it for each of your programs and try and get that balance between them all to work out what you need in order to achieve the goals that you want. So what next? Well, it's important to remember this is your starting point. So you are not going to hit your target client number straight away. This will take time, so bear that in mind. Now, if I go back and look at this, I've got 682.36 here for a 12-week program. I want to charge more than that because I want to take into the fact I'm not going to get those clients all the time, especially when I first start. So I could bump it up to 800. Now remember, this is a guide. Now, if your number is too high for your market, then you obviously need to revisit your product or your service and change it. What you don't want to do is, because you've got this market in mind and you've spent that time there working out what your values are, what your goals are, please don't go back and just lower your price. Because if you lower your price, you're never going to hit your end goal. If you're never going to hit your end goal and you can't see yourself working your way towards your end goal, or you can't live the life that you really want to live by putting all this work into it, you are not going to be motivated to work in this business. Or even worse, you're going to start changing your program, reducing the value of that program, which means you couldn't get a bad reputation from it. But it also means that it probably won't be in line with your values as well, which makes it even harder for you to get motivated to do it. So please do not do that. If you've sat and worked this out, you know what your targets are, you know what your end goals are, you've got to make sure your business leads to that. If it doesn't, then what is the point? Find something other way of doing it. Because that's the whole point of doing this. You are taking a risk in your business by doing it. So you have to make sure it's worthwhile. And by doing that and planning it out properly and doing the exercise we've done here, you're going to make sure it is worthwhile and you're working your way to whatever it is you want to achieve, whatever your ambition is, you're working your way towards it. So if your market doesn't match your ambitions, then you need to change your products and service to match the market, or you change your market. Now, of course, as you grow as a person, which you are bound to in business, and you've only just started out in business, which is fine, you are going to change and evolve over time. I promise you, I started out very, very young, and I thought I knew everything when I was 18. And I know now that I still don't know as much as I wish or thought I knew back then. So basically what I'm trying to say to you is you will grow as a person in this business. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs. And when you do that, your values and your goals do change over time. So don't be afraid to go back and revisit them and redo these exercises again if they do change. But whenever they do change, make sure again that your product and your service and your market matches what your goals and your values are. Because if you do that, you will have a successful business, I promise you, because you will put the effort in and do it. So anyway, I hope that has helped with the pricing side of stuff. I hope that makes sense. I know there's a lot of numbers in there, a lot of information to take in. Hopefully you managed to pause it and take some time to do it all. If you do have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to just comment below and I'll do my best to answer them. And I'll see you on the next training.